Most of the things I will tell you about in this video are very important if you are going to Japan, so definitely stay tuned. In Japan, many shops expect you to pay by cash. They don't have possibilities for you to pay by card, so always have enough cash on you so you can last through the day. Of course, in order to actually have cash on you, you need to know where to get it. The most accessible and easy to use ATMs are in convenience stores like Lawson or 7-Eleven. They are also made for tourists, so they often have an English option in most places. I recommend the ones in 7-Elevens because from my experience those ones are the easiest and best to use. There are almost no trash bins on the streets, so I always kept wondering, why is Japan so clean? Until a friend of mine actually told me that Japanese people tend to take their trash home with them. This blew my mind because in other countries people litter even though right besides them there is a trash can. I recommend taking a small bag or maybe a plastic bag to put in the trash and then take it home with you so you can sort it afterwards. If you're in a restaurant or a hotel, don't leave a tip because Japanese people will actually run after you and return the money if you do. It is considered bad to take money from guests because they are to be treated like royalty. Japanese street names and names of places in general can be very hard to remember, so if you get lost and need to ask somebody for the way, it's always good to actually know how this place is called because else you don't know how to ask for it. I recommend you to take a quick photo or a screenshot of Google Maps or at least the name of the place you're headed to so you can show it to people if you get lost. As someone who has never really traveled outside of Europe before going to Japan, this particular practice was new to me. Before landing in Japan, you will get two small papers which are there for the authorities to know what you will take into the country and how long you plan to stay. They have English versions, so don't worry, but it's always good to be prepared. And then when they check your passport after getting out of the plane, you will have to hand those in. Japan has a very strict policy when it comes to people coming into their country. This is not mandatory, but I really recommend you to print out the return ticket so you can show it and prove that you will not stay into the country too long. So just prove essentially that you will actually leave the country after your stay. After handing in the filled out questionnaire, you will most likely be asked a few questions on why you are going to stay in Japan and what you plan to do while you are there, so keep this in mind. There's always a tax of about 8% on everything you buy in Japan, and some places like Don Quixote or Mandarake actually have tax-free counters. So if you go there to buy in bulk or just buy something that is a little more expensive, it is really beneficial to actually have your passport with you and show it at the tax-free counter so they can give you a pretty big discount on what you buy. The public transport system in Japan can be very confusing at times, so I really recommend you to buy a Suica Card. Buying a Suica Card will make your life much easier, believe me. There are many different ones depending on which prefecture you are in, but they all work the same. They're usually free of charge, so you can just go to a ticket counter and get one for free. When entering a bus, it is also important to note that you can use this card. There is a little machine right at the entrance of the bus and you can just hold your card there. So when exiting the bus, you can again just hold your card against the machine that is there right beside the driver's seat. The money that you will have to pay will be deducted automatically from the money you have on your Suica card. The Suica card can be charged up right at the ticket counters when you would usually buy a normal ticket. You can just put in your Suica card and charge it up normally. The entrance in a bus is actually always the back door, so it's never the front door, because that's where people actually get out and pay and use their Suica cards, so never enter a bus at the front door. There are many things to consider when talking about good manners in Japan, but the most important ones are: avoid blowing your nose in public. Take off your shoes at the entrance if there is a small threshold, but I usually would take them off anyways to be sure, or at least ask if you have to, if there is no threshold. If you want to show something to somebody, don't point with your finger, but use your whole hand to point at it. Eating while walking is rather impolite, so sit down, finish eating before going somewhere. These were 11 things I wish I knew before going to Japan for the first time. I hope this will help you to have no unpleasant experiences while you are in Japan, and if I forgot something or you just want to add something to the list, just let me know in the comments below. If you like Japan and you want to see more Japan related videos in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel and also leave a like if you liked the video and it was helpful for you. See you next time.